All right, so let me ask you this because I literally have to know. Do you currently own a guitar that's become more than just a guitar? And you might be like, Mike, what in the world do you mean by that? I'm talking about a guitar that has true sentimental value. And the reason for that is because I feel like every single one of us has walked into a guitar store, we've turned to our left, we've grabbed like a $400 Squire, we've put our hands on it, and we've been like, wow, that sounds really good, even better than what I was expecting. Then we went all the way over to the other end of the guitar store, and we had one of the employees begrudgingly get us from the very top shelf, like a $5,000 custom shop guitar, and we've been like, wow, this feels really good, this plays really good, it's like $5,000. But sentimental value is more than just about what you can get for the price, and it's more than just about how the instrument feels in the moment. It's the stories behind the guitar, it's where you've taken them. And I think for me, there's been two very specific guitars where I can truly say they have sentimental value to me more than basically anything I've ever played. And the first of which is actually sitting right behind me. It's right there. Let me show you. You see, this is my pink Telly. I've had it for about 3.5 years, and to me, it represents the very, very first time that I really worked hard for something that I wanted. I spent the entire summer working fast food at a Chick-fil-A just to afford it. I actually bought a PRS first and then traded it for this bad boy. And because it's from a specific builder in South Carolina, I know that no one else really has a guitar like this. I don't know if he made many more guitars like this. It sounds amazing. I played it at so many live gigs. I learned so many songs and recorded so many of my first videos with it. It's one of those guitars that I don't really think I could ever sell. Now, there's only one other guitar that really has a story like this, and that happens to be this guitar right here. This is my G&L Legacy. I've had it for about 4 or 5 years, and why it's so interesting, why it's so special to me, is because it's the first alternative guitar that I ever got. You see, I knew about the big brands like Fender and stuff because I had a Highway 1 Strat, but when I walked into a guitar store one day and told the employees that I was looking for a G&L, the guy gave me this interesting look and he said, "You're looking for a G&L? Well, we've had one of them on the shelf for a year. There's nothing wrong with it. It just hasn't sold. We don't know why it hasn't sold, but you seem like a nice kid and we're willing to give it to you brand new for $700, a USA made G&L." And I was like stoked. I had done my little history lessons on G&L just as a company and where they had come from, learning more about Leo, but I had never really put my hands on one. And having that scenario and in that guitar store, this became a very, very special guitar to me. But even in owning a G&L Legacy USA, I don't think in the moment I knew just how far Leo Fender had taken it. And so I wanted to really find out. I really do hope you're ready because I genuinely believe that I've never showed a guitar like this before on here. You see, friends, really quickly right now, I'd love nothing more than to introduce you to the G&L S500. And it's a little bit different than the Legacy that I just showed you. You might be like, Mike, what are you talking about? You see, G&L actually has two different types of S-style models. They have the S500, like this one, and they have the Legacy, like the one I just showed you, the one that I bought that has super sentimental value to me. And what makes them different is people usually say, from what I've looked up, that the S500, which is a little bit more in price, it's about $300 or $400 more, is actually a little bit warmer with the tone. But I don't actually know if you notice this, and come a little closer because I'm going to tell you a little secret real quick. This isn't just an ordinary S500. You see, friends, this is an S500 custom shop. Yes, you heard me correctly, a G&L custom shop guitar. You see, I didn't know up until very, very recently that G&L even had a custom shop. It's got a slim C-shaped neck with a 9.5 inch radius on the fretboard. But what actually makes it different from a regular S500 USA? This has a true alder body and it has Indian Laurel on the fretboard as opposed to the Caribbean Rosewood on the regular S500 USA. But again, those are just specs. You could get those off Wikipedia. You want to see how this thing actually sounds. So let's see if it lives up to the custom shop sound. But Mike, why this? Why this guitar? Well, when it comes to simple aesthetics, just first look things, I think the relic job done on this guitar is really good. It looks very vintage. I especially like on the headstock that they don't put the S500 like they usually do on the regular ones in the USA. They just have the G&L there. But also, I have been open and honest and will continue to be open and honest about every S-style guitar, just being a Strat player. My least favorite thing in the world is the sound of the neck pickup. I think it sounds completely ugly. I don't think it has the character of a Tele pickup, but I've talked about that 500,000 times. Always 100% of the time, I would prefer to have a humbucker and a Strat and have an HSS. And I think it just gives you that beefiness because you can go from like the clean tones to like a lot of the heavier stuff in a single guitar. The other thing I keep thinking about, it has a toggle switch for the coil split on the humbucker. Like I said, I don't necessarily know if I'd use it. It's nice to have it just in case. Maybe hypothetically I could use it as like a boost if I was really trying to get some drive in there. I wanted to kick into solo mode, but who really knows? Now, I'm not gonna lie, this thing actually is a little bit noisier than what I'm used to, even from S-style guitars and some of the other ones that I own, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I think there is a vintage quality to that. It's not like a really bad hum, and part of it is just due to the room I'm in. There's a lot of hum in here, and I don't necessarily have a really nice gate pedal, but the humbucker really helps to combat that because there's basically no hum in the 1 or 2 position. But in the 4 and 5 position where I usually play, where I do all of my funk work, all of the clean stuff, all the stuff that you love, there's a vintage quality to it. If I could use film terms for a second, there's some like grain in it, and it's very nice, and it's not over the top. And on the looks end, I also love the Sonic Blue with the mint green pick guard. Ugh. I've been in love with mint green pick guards ever since I got my Shiji, and this is no exception. Okay, so real talk, I feel like this is something you can't even really comprehend until you actually feel it. Like the 9.5-inch fretboard radius, that's actually crazy. Like this is probably the flattest neck that I've ever played in my life. That combined with the actual Slim C on the neck, I think this is one of the better necks I've played in my entire life. All right, so here's kind of the big question when it comes to this guitar. The big thing that we have to answer and that I had to see for myself is like, what does custom shop actually mean to the individual? Because I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that price just doesn't matter at all. When I walked into that guitar store all those years ago and got this guitar right here, part of what made this special was knowing what this guitar was actually worth and doing my research all of those days and having someone actually be able to part with it just because it was a very specific special scenario that I'll never forget. And this is a USA model GNL. So when you're telling me you're going all the way up, you're going to the top of the line, the custom shop, it's like, what are you actually getting when you're paying for this? And is the custom shop actually worth it? Well, that's not for me to decide. I want to know what you think. Tell me in the comments, have you ever played a GNL custom shop guitar? What do you know about the custom shops? Do you think it's worth it? Please, I need to know your thoughts. Anyway, again, thank you so much for watching this video. This thing has just been a pleasure to play since the moment I took it out of the box a couple weeks ago. I mean, I've been so excited to get down with this guitar. I think it sounds and feels phenomenal. If you want to know anything more about this guitar, I got it from Sweetwater. The links are in the description. It's one of the best ways to support the channel if that's something you want to do. Or if you're just curious about any of the other gear that I used in this video, make sure to check out those links. Like and subscribe if you had a good time, and most importantly of all, have a fantastic day. Ba-da-da-da, 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 ba-da-da-da.